No man named UFO Shane. He has 58 laptops. I'm not joking, he has 62 laptops. He knows more than you about everything. He's got more to do. He's UFO Shane. He's got a plan. His IQ alcohol percentage insane. He has 83 laptops. I'm not joking, he has 96 laptops. So many laptop access. I'm mad at you, Shane has 48, 9 fucking portable computers in his domicile. What the that? Stop sending UFO Shane like he's running out of space. If I could turn your wavy mic, I would find a way. I would take back all the things that I said to hurt you. And you'd say, if I could tell you right back, if I could tell you it like if I could tell you it like if I could tell you it like if I could turn your wavy mic, I would find a way. I would take back all the things that I said to hurt you.
They got my grill. They call CPS on the mother. Conspired against me. The devil will come for you, and I will be there. This is the UFO war. The UFO war. A big piece of simple fucking fat. The guy looks like a sick fat bitch, and Darren is a loser. Yeah, Brian, you're so cute, big and square shaped, you blew it, you fucked up so bad, and you knew it, but couldn't admit that you did. And now you're in deep fucking shit. You won't go too far in this. UFO war, UFO war, UFO war. They got my grill. They call CPS on the mother. Conspired against me. The devil will come for you, and I will be there. This is the UFO war. The UFO war. Taking facts, now my shingles are flaring. It burns when I breathe, but there is no comparing to the shame it must feel like to simply be Darren Reed. Oh Lord, why did you make Darren Reed? Darren used his ex-wife to execute a plan to remove the children from a woman who dared to take a stand for something she believed in. Let me tell you something I believe in. Oh Lord, there is no comparing to the embarrassment of just being Darren, not just being Darren.
Yeah, Prime, I know you've been talking to a lawyer. Yeah, Prime Rip, now you've gone and done it. This hate campaign has gotten you in hot water. The stain is on you and can never be clean from it. You'll be remembered for this for the rest of your life. You lost your reputation while trying to damage mine. It's the sad story of beneath all your crime. Why did you lie about me, Leah? Two simps that looked up to you, Leah Prime. Why did you take it so far when all you had to do was get eaten by an Italian anew? You're just a meatball at a buffet ending soon.
What's up, Skyfire News? No, I was on my Stephen Cambion stuff for a second. Guys, this is going to be I think a fun show. Now, again, welcome to the show. This is a big day. David Grush is in question again. He found himself in the crosshairs of a FOIA man named John Greenwald. He's a friend of the show, and there, again, more doubt being casted. He FOIA'd some documents that calls into question Grush's statements, and it is a hot button topic today. As you know, in the UFO world, there are Grush fanatics. There are people who consider him a hero, and I'm not saying that he's not, but in terms of him being truthful about what's going on with his actions along the UFO world, I'm surprised that these kind of arguments are happening. We got Red Panda coming in here. This is going to be about, was he in the lobby? Was he not in the lobby? Did he show up? Was he being truthful? And we're going to dive into it. We got all the details for you. As you can see, we got a little custom thing down there, the overlay representing the two sides. Now, we're not trying to say that they're exactly these sides. You know what I mean? There's some gray area there. I would consider Greenwald impartial. He might belong somewhere in the middle, just kind of looking for the answers and looking for the truth. But we do know where Mellon resides. So, again, welcome to the show, guys. We're going to dive right into it. Red Panda Koala, get up here.
What's good, Tuba?
What up? What up?
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. We're going to definitely break down this FOIA dump, some of the community reactions, and then maybe close out with a little bit of fun with that Will Smith thing. But
yes.
should we shout out the chat real quick?
Let's get it out there, dog. We got guess who was first? Any guesses?
I'm gonna go with Armstrong today.
Ding 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 ding. We got a winner. Good to see you, Armstrong. We got Anthony Jones in the mix. You guys are all killing it here. You guys were here early too. Pizza Slayer. We got a super chat, or a sticker from Stone Date. And then we got ourselves.
You got to do though.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. They getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
It's not over yet. Oh. We got a $10 dono, and we're gonna get to this question. I'm wondering, who do you guys think is straight up lying through all this? Elizondo, Mellon, Greenstreet, Grush, Corbell, Knapp, Lazar, Greer, Graves, Fravor, Kirkpatrick? That's a great question. That's the question. I'm glad you asked it. I'm glad you're here, and thanks for the dono. Like, Red.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. They getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Can we make
Hey,
that call, Red? Can you make the call? Who do you think is straight up lying through all of this?
Elizondo, liar. Melon, liar. Green Street has lied. Grush. What did he say last time? May have misremembered. I'm not calling him a liar. Corbell has lied. Knapp has lied. Lazar has lied. Greer has lied. Graves. I'm holding out hope for Graves. He's still in my grid camp. And as is Grush. I'm still pro Grush. Oh shoot, I got double headphones on.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Fravor. I don't know. Kirkpatrick, I think, has lied as well. What about you? Run through the list, bro.
I'm going to say the question is, who do you guys think is straight up lying through all of this? Some of them have told truths. Some of them have told half-truths. Some of them have told a couple lies. I don't think any one of these guys are coming out of here clean on the end of it. I don't. But who's been lying the most? Who's been straight up lying through all of this? I gotta say the intelligence agent.
The
right?
counter intel dude.
The counter intel dude is lying through all of this. That's my guess. Now, obviously,
he's the only one who lied to me about what he was drinking.
He lied, and then he scolded us for believing him in the first place. And it's like, well, we had no reason to doubt you, bud. We'll play that clip. So Elizondo is an intelligence agent and counterintelligence agent, counterintelligence, counterinsurgencies, counterterrorism. That's what he does, and that's what he was asked to bring. That's the skill set he was asked to bring into the UFO community. So my guess is that at least a lot of what he's been saying is for that reason, for that cause. I don't think at any point he caught feelings for the UFO topic and decided, hey, I'm going to break protocol and I'm here for y'all. I don't think that's what he did. Red, what do you think?
I think he's well-intentioned, but my whole thing is Elizondo's well-intentioned, did some good things, but has definitely lied. Is your mother a whore? Question was indicative of some lies around there. Yeah, I don't know. It's not over. Is it over for Elizondo? Is there a redemption arc somewhere for Elizondo?
Yeah, for everyone. For everyone. I mean, we're over here like, in the bleachers watching. Do you know what I'm saying? Like whatever these guys
Discord can have a redemption arc, Elizondo can.
Absolutely. For everyone. For everyone. Except for
yeah.
Darren. Except for Darren. Chat, you guys know that. Darren's not getting redeemed. Right? We're all on the same page there. I need a 1 in the chat for Darren's soul because we have to watch it go, dude. There is a but where is he today? Where is Darren today? Let's summon him. We need
we've got multiple things going on. We got another super sticker from UFO Intros. Everybody go listen and follow to them on
The
Twitter.
bad days, I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Let's go.
Let's go. We got Pizza Slayer saying no Darren redemption. Yeah, we agree. Darren's been deported for unfriendliness from Canada. I'm sorry, Darren. We got love for Canadians over here, though.
Lou Elizondo in the chat to his redemption arc says, "Of course there is, guys. I'm a good guy. I think there's some good in you. There's so good in him." Okay.
60 for a signed copy, he says. 60 for that signed copy. You can't miss it. Don't leave it on the shelf. Grab it. Grab it when you see it.
That's like 20 for a signed copy in 2019. So sad. But all right.
Darren is a paradox, but definitely on a journey, making his way to the middle. Yeah, as long as his ex-wife says it's cool and she can sign off on it, I think that he's gonna make it there to the middle. We'll see.
And for the chat, before we dive into this, just based on what you've seen in the ether and whatnot, what do you guys think of today's FOIA? Who is this? What is the truth? Is the truth with Kirkpatrick? Is the truth with Grush? Is the FOIA not even putting them at odds? Does the FOIA line up with what both of they've said? What do you guys think? Before we get into this, I'm curious. Do you have any gut reactions to what you've browsed? We're gonna go through it more today, but
yeah, that's why I started the show with sunglasses on my Stephen Cambian shit, because I think.
You're on Cambian mode today. Is that what that was?
I mean, just a little bit. I'm feeling a sense of kinship with him today. I mean, he's the one saying it's day 633 and Grush has presented no evidence. So
Damn.
he's been saying it. Now, I'm not flip-flopping to one extreme or the other. I am just saying that I do feel I do think there's some questions that need to be answered now. And I can't help but get the sense, in chat, let us know if you guys agree. I can't help but get the sense that we're being fooled here. I don't think what we're seeing is slow drip disclosure at the hands of heroes being stonewalled by government, secrecy. I don't think that's what we're seeing. I think that's what we're being told. That's what we're seeing. And every time Greenwald FOIAs a new paper or Green Street produces a new documentary or a new piece, and it's the missing pieces to this stuff, I see a lot of the success of disclosure being held in the ignorance of us. What we don't know allows the disclosure process to go forward. That's what I think. And then, as opposed to what we do know, we should be being given information that we need in order to make our own judgments. Instead, we're being given figures and figureheads and icons and celebrities to like fawn over and admit that, or not admit, but declare them a hero of some kind. Something's not right. That's how I feel. And I think that this is kind of scratching the surface of it for a lot of people who have bit their tongue and have held out hope, but are still pragmatic and understand logically and rationally what might be happening right now. So that's the vibe I get. Am I alone there? Red?
Honestly, I have to go through the minutia of this because there are certain timetables, but we're going to go through it too because the Grush Kirkpatrick kind of feud is one of these feuds that's kind of, for better or worse, developed within the community, right? There's been this discrepancy, right, of basically about this for a minute, about who ghosted who is basically what it comes down to, right? And they're both saying that, like, you ghosted me, right?
Still. So what do you mean by ghosted? What happened, and then what didn't take place, and how's the reaction from the sides here?
So broad strokes before we open up the Black Vault documents. David Grush, the whistleblower who was at the hearing. Let me go ahead and just so we have some visual up too. Let's see how the overlay looks. Boom. Oh, nice. Yeah, so David Grush, the whistleblower who was at the hearing, seated in front of Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. He has said previously a few times that he reached out to Arrow and no one from Arrow got back to him.
And Arrow, though, we gotta break down for the fans. What is Arrow? He reached out to the government office for looking for UFOs and the answers for them being hidden in the government. Arrow was assigned that task to go find out what they could, and they didn't come up with too much. So Grush is in contact with Arrow throughout the process. Again, that's a good step. That seems like a legitimate step. Keep this back and forth going between official, whistleblower, and honestly the community as well. So that's Arrow in a nutshell.
Yeah, and maybe let's go first through and just read through how John Greenwald presented it, because he's also getting. Do you see all the flack he's getting today about this? And as you kind of touched on, it's like he just published a FOIA response, right?
Yes.
And what did Bangkok Ford say today?
Bangkok Ford, Matt Ford, host of the Good Trouble Show, owner of the StandForBetter.org, a political action committee for the Democratic Party. Ford was not interested in UFOs 11 months ago, but he got into it, and now he's been given unprecedented access to a lot of the figureheads within ufology, and along with that access comes his allegiance to them and their party lines. Ford takes up arms for these guys often. This is my opinion. This is what I've seen. Again, here we go. Without skipping a beat, Ford Greenwald releases the FOIA document calling into question Grush's honesty and his story, right? And then here comes Bangkok Ford, as Red calls him, because I think he might be hiding out in Bangkok right now. But Matt Ford comes in from Stand for Better, not even from Good Trouble Show. I guess he didn't want the smoke on that channel. From a political action committee, calls him a Pentagon. That might be right. Yeah, maybe he wanted the extra stuff. Pentagon useful idiot John Greenwald of the Black Vault is stirring the pot again. The Good Trouble Show and Chris Sharp explained months ago the real reason David Grush would not go to Arrow, but John spins it to cast doubt on Grush. This is exactly what I would expect from a political operative. This is the language. This is the delivery. This is the propaganda, dude. Black and white photo, red, useful idiot. It reminds me of campaign commercials. Right. Is Matt Ford carrying water for these guys? And here he goes. Good Trouble Show and Chris Sharp explained months ago. So clearly, Christopher Sharp, what are you doing with the Liberation Times? It sounds like you guys were given information that this shit was going to come out, so you would release stories ahead of time, and now you're calling yourself prophets for it. Christopher Sharp working with Matt Ford, by the way. Yeah, that's why I'm embarrassed for him. In this instance,
for sure.
That's why. Chris is a really nice guy. Liberation Time seems pretty good, but from my perspective, it does look like some of these media assets are being catamaried into this ball, this mass, in order to work with and for this disclosure thing. They're given, I'm not lying when I say unprecedented access, okay? Also, they seem to be ahead of some of these stories that are coming out. I think that Grush, Mellon, Elizondo, Cahill, whoever else you want to lump into that group, which you probably should not lump too much. You don't need to paint with broad strokes here, but there are a lot of people that it does seem like Liberation Times and Good Trouble Show are laundering the information for them. Like they're laundering it. Like it can't come out through them, so it comes out through these leaks. And to back that up, scroll through their stuff. You'll see ample amounts of, if I could just tell you what I know, or if they're gonna, or where they're straight up speaking for these guys. Straight up speaking with 100% confidence. This is how they feel. When I say these guys, I mean the guys that they talk to, the guys who they have access to. And we see that a lot. So, you know what I mean? Like useful idiot. And then scroll down. There was another comment that underneath this.
There was. Give me one second.
Mm-hmm. There was another comment. Again, Greenwald, nice dude, couldn't say that enough. Doing a very good service with his FOIA requests. His information's free. I got into some of the interesting things with Gateway and whatnot. I never tried it, but in learning about it from the Black Vault website, that's how I found out about Itzhak Bentov, philosopher, mathematician, mystic, interesting dude. So I got a lot of love for the stuff that he does, and I can't help but think that this is crazy. So after Matt Ford posts Understand for Better that he's a Pentagon useful idiot, Greenwald is, he goes and says maybe he should focus his time on dildo sales, because Greenwald sells items online. He's like I don't know what you call it, but that's one of the things he does. He moves merch, not just his own. Like he's a businessman. And because Matt Ford was so hard up for a dildo, he had to fucking go to this guy's website or whatever, and then now mocks him daily. Matt, if you're the one buying the dildos, the joke's on you, Matt. The joke's on you.
That's but yeah. I totally forgot that. Are you going to roast John about this lie, by the way? Which I'm like 99% sure is a lie. I think he's denied it and stuff. But he was out here opening dildos on Derby's stream or whatever the other day.
Literally just to mock Greenwald. These media assets have absolutely decided that the enemy of their asset is the enemy of their show. And so that's what they're doing. And I don't know if they're doing it subliminally to gain favor with these guys, or if that's what they're being instructed to do, or if they don't do that, maybe they won't get access to them. But it's so weird. It's so weird. And Matt Ford has the personality of a moth. Like, get it together, dude. Shave. Okay. I'm gonna let it vent out because not to protect Greenwald, not because I'm mad for Greenwald, but I just really think that this stuff needs to be figured out. How come every time new information comes out, it's the media assets that decide to start throwing mud at each other? It's because of their access. Very strange stuff. Very strange stuff. Red, is there any kind of media asset that we would take up arms for? What character out there would we be like, you know what, let's fight this fight. Let's fight this fight.
There's been a few we kind of have in the past, but I mean,
Sure.
everyone thinks that they the ones that deserve it, right?
No, that's true. I want to be self-deprecating a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. We all have our sides. We're all going to pick our sides. And I think that that's great. But how far will you go, right? How far will you go to hurt the other because they represent a threat in some way to your asset? I mean, I try even, and I know this is going to sound corny, but I mean, I think I see you do it too sometimes, Red. Like, we don't want to pick sides, so we actually criticize some people we probably shouldn't. And like, you know what I mean? If we wanted to keep access, and I think that it helps with integrity. It doesn't help with getting these guys in here. But at the same time, it's a nightmare to play that game and get caught up into it. Like when I think back on UCR in its heyday, UCR was a show on YouTube called the I fucking always want to call it the Upright Citizens Brigade. The Unidentified Celebrity Review. Okay, and now this show was banging for a while. If you know about Lou Reviews, the modern day skeptic, if you know about him, his show was out for a long time, and it was called UCR. And they had to play this game, and they had to play it, and it seemed like hell. And then when they decided to not play it anymore, it seemed like even more hell. And I think the only way you can get out of that is by not bending the knee for access to information or to people, because that kind of, you're then a mouthpiece for that team. And how is that not obfuscation? How is that not like damaging disclosure? Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that people got to keep it real out here, especially media assets. If what I'm suspecting is real, is even halfway real, where's the integrity of people like Matt Ford or Liberation Times? If they're just a mouthpiece for these guys, and no matter what they say, they have to back up. I mean, will Liberation Times ever release a critical article about Lou Elizondo? Will it ever release a critical article about David? Ever? Think back and then go look back and then read it. Tell me what you see. Fair and balanced, or one-way street? It just doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right. Useful idiot. Pentagon useful idiot. That's a conspiracy theory. Am I tripping? That's a conspiracy theory? And it's like QAnon type shit. Greenwald isn't just a guy who sells dildos or whatever, or like, you know what I mean, collects FOIAs and puts them on a website for everyone for free. He's not just that guy. He's also a Pentagon useful idiot. He must have CIA assets. Like, he must be doing the job of the obfuscators. That's dangerous rhetoric, dude. That's othering him.
In really fact, is.
Red, do you know if, I don't want to sound like a jackass, are there any connections between Greenwald and the Pentagon?
Not that I know of.
So that's an unfounded conspiracy theory put forth by a media asset that carries water for the disclosure process? Okay.
Yes.
As long as we're all clear on that, then we're good.
So let's just walk it back a little bit too, where this feud kind of started. So let's go back to the hearing, right? This is in July of 2023, last year, after Grush comes out. This exchange that we're about to watch prompted Sean Kirkpatrick to release this statement on LinkedIn, which we will also cover, but let's just listen.
With similar allegations, albeit in non-public settings. However, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of AARO, previously testified before Congress that there has been, and I quote, no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity or of, quote, off-world technology brought to the attention of the office. To your knowledge, is that statement correct?
Not accurate. I believe Dr. Kirkpatrick mentioned he had about 30 individuals that have come to Arrow thus far. A few of those individuals have also come to Arrow that I also interviewed,
Okay.
and I know what they provided Dr. Kirkpatrick and their team.
Okay,
I was able to evaluate
okay,
that information.
I need to go on.
Sure.
But my understanding that his statement is accurate, came from a direct quote. And this contradiction is a perfect example of why we need to inject transparency into our government. And for another example, look no further than the pitiful response to the Chinese spy balloon debacle earlier this year. You may remember the mass.
I actually think we got the gist of that right. So he calls out Kirkpatrick, and he also said the thing about multiple people went to Arrow and felt like they weren't answered, right?
Yeah, yeah. So they're trying to lay the groundwork for doubt with Arrow, the integrity of Arrow, the efficiency of Arrow, the need for Arrow, and I think they're doing that to get ahead of the of the report. Yeah, go ahead.
So here was the statement John Kirkpatrick released on LinkedIn like the day after that hearing. We'll get it right. Boom. Let me begin by saying the following are my own personal observations and opinions, which do not necessarily represent official DoD or IC positions. Yesterday, the Subcommittee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs held an open hearing on UAP, during which a government cover-up of extraterrestrials was alleged. I wholeheartedly applaud congressional efforts to get to the truth about what UAP are and the risk to both pilot safety and national security. I am also absolutely committed to transparency on both the historical mission and the operational mission. As the director of Arrow's amazingly talented, devoted, and highly motivated team, however, I cannot let yesterday's hearing pass without sharing how insulted it was to the officers of the Department of Defense and intelligence community who chose to join Arrow, many with not unreasonable anxieties about the career risk this would entail, that have been working diligently, tirelessly, and often in the face of harassment and animosity to satisfy their congressionally mandated mission. They are truth seekers, as am I, but you certainly would not get that impression from yesterday's hearing. Do you have any thoughts on that so far?
Nope. Sounded good.
There's that word we love to hate, harassment. I don't even remember him mentioning the harassment in this letter when it happened. I think hindsight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arrow was established by law to investigate the allegations and assertions presented in yesterday's hearing. Allegations by its witnesses of retaliation, to include physical assault and hints of murder, are extraordinarily serious, which is why law enforcement is a critical member of the Arrow team, specifically to address and take swift action should anyone come forward with such claims. Yet, contrary to assertions made in the hearing, the central source of those allegations has refused to speak with Arrow. So this is where we start getting into it. So he's saying, David Grush, right? I don't believe that Ryan Graves or Fravor, who also were at the hearing, mentioned anything about Arrow. They weren't necessarily asked about it either. So he's definitely talking about David Grush here, because David Grush was the one who just said the thing about like people going to Arrow and not feeling like it's really doing anything. So right here we see where was I at? Yeah. So yet contrary to assertions made in the hearing, the central source of those allegations has refused to speak with Arrow. So this is like the first of this little weird beef of like who's ghosting who's refusing to talk to who. How can you go in front of the entire nation, right, in front of Congress, and say like Arrow's doing a really poor job when you yourself haven't talked to them, is what Kirkpatrick is basically trying to say here, and calling out Grush. Although to his credit, he does not even name Grush, but everyone knows who everyone's talking about. Furthermore, some information reportedly provided to Congress has not been provided to Arrow, raising additional questions about the true commitment to transparency by some congressional elements. So this is another really interesting data point. You know what I mean? He sounds like he's upset that people are going to Congress people and telling them all these wild stories, but not coming and telling them to Arrow, which is where like they were legally mandated to do it. How you doing, Tupa?
Oh, good. I think I'm getting a cold. I had to start coughing. But it is a good question. Why weren't they going the route they were supposed to go? You know, why weren't they going to Arrow? Why were they going to congressmen who were not necessarily adequately briefed or prepared to examine the statements or the claims with efficiency and timely matter? Like, it's almost like they were taking advantage of the vulnerability that the Congress people had versus their professionalism, right? If there's already a set up program called Arrow that's supposed to be doing this stuff, and they catch wind that Arrow is not going to play ball, then their only hope is to go to congressmen and women and convince them of something, right?
Yeah, but also to the other end too. I mean, we talked to in Alien Girl space, actually, shouts out Alien Girl, we talked to Nimitz witness Gary Voorhees, and he was like, yo, I was actually a Nimitz witness. I went to talk to Arrow, I did the right thing, and I feel like I was ghosted by them. So there definitely is sentiments from like people who went there that like they don't like it.
True. Okay. So what's going on there? Why would Arrow not want to talk to a witness of a famous case? Could they have considered him damaged goods, not because he saw something, but because he's been involved with so many programs that basically rely on his report being 100% real, regardless of what he did see. He seems to think he knows what he saw. That could be a reason why they wanted to keep him out of the pool. But all in all, I don't think that's good science. I'm just saying, maybe I think they should have talked to Voorhees, in part because he's done so much.
Yes, and I'm just trying to get everything. There's a lot of documents kind of that we're looking through today, so bear with us. But we're having fun.
Hell yeah! With some background music, Red.
Why not? Let's do the you know which one I want, the TMZ spooky one. Slow.
Spooky. Dun. Wait, is it this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
The subcommittee, whose questions and oversight duties are irreproachable and in genuine need of answers, has never asked Arrow for an update on the reporting system, the historical review, the operations, and the S&T strategy that Arrow leads and is undertaking. A rational person watching the hearing might reasonably assume that both the witnesses and the members had an understanding of the department's and the IC's progress since the establishment of Arrow around this time last year, only naturally leading them to conclude that Arrow has been ineffective, non-transparent, and delinquent in its legislative mission. Arrow briefs the Defense and Intel committees regularly, and since the last NDAA, the Homeland Defense and S&T and several other committees as well. That's another interesting point, right? The subcommittee who held the hearing never talked to them or never approached them, he's saying. So I can understand why Kirkpatrick would be sitting at home watching this hearing and being like, yo, what the heck? This person hasn't talked to me. None of these Congress people have talked to me. You're trashing my whole operation here, and none of you came and talked to me, right?
Yep, that's fair.
And I'm getting harassed. And my whole team's getting harassed. I am deeply disappointed at the denigration of Arrow's dedicated men and women, hailing from the Department of Defense, intelligence community, and civil partners, who are pouring their hearts out working this issue on the behalf of Congress. Arrow has the authorities and resources necessary to execute this mission to meet congressional intent. And as we've stated before, Arrow welcomes anyone with knowledge of any of these allegations or programs to talk to us in a safe, secure, and appropriately cleared environment. Rest assured, Arrow will follow the data wherever it leads. Finally, to be clear, Arrow has yet to find any credible evidence to support the allegations of any reverse engineering program for non-human technology. Also, to be clear, none of the whistleblowers from yesterday's hearing ever worked for Arrow or was ever a representative to Arrow, contrary to statements made in testimony and in the media. So that sounds like it might have been a media L. Let's just rewatch that part again too, because it is relevant.
Ms. Fox?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank our witnesses for being here today. Mr. Grush, in your sworn testimony, you state that the United States government has retrieved supposedly extraterrestrial spacecraft and other UAP-related artifacts. You go so far as to state that the U.S. is in possession of, quote, non-human spacecraft, end quote, and that some of these artifacts have circulated with defense contractors. Several other former military and intelligence officials have come forward with similar allegations, albeit in non-public settings. However, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of AARO, previously testified before Congress that there has been, and I quote, no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity or of quote, off-world technology brought to the attention of the office. To your knowledge, is that statement correct?
It's not accurate. I believe Dr. Kirkpatrick mentioned he had about 30 individuals that have come to Arrow thus far. A few of those individuals have also come to Arrow that I also interviewed,
Okay.
and I know what they provided Dr. Kirkpatrick and their team.
Okay,
I was able to evaluate
okay,
that
I
information.
need to go on.
Sure.
But my understanding that his statement is accurate, came from a direct quote. And this contradiction is a perfect example of why we need to inject transparency into our government. And for another example, look no further than the pitiful response to the Chinese spy balloon debacle earlier this year. You may remember the mass confusion that ensued when the balloon was first spotted over Montana, 4 days after it first entered U.S. airspace over Alaska. The Biden administration's initial inability to address the object grew into a continuous series. We were assured that the balloon posed no threat to our security. However,
Sorry, I was muted. I said not even a rap beat could save me from being bored to death by this woman talking. Old people talk. I love old people. I love my grandma. You know what I mean? But when they talk, dude, it hits a pitch in my ear where I just get sleepy, dude.
Let me just make sure he doesn't say anything more about Kirkpatrick because it's all like within the same.
Just get to the juice.
with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Yeah, Mr. Frost.
All right. Yeah. So no.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And
It was just that little part in the middle.
Cool.
All right, so then we're gonna get into this was one of the FOIA releases from today. Was like right after that happened, there was this text exchange between Chris Mellon and actually wait, let me quadruple check if that's right.
Chris Mellon is this character down here on the right hand side next to David Grush, right? So if you guys don't know, that's Mellon. Kirkpatrick's over here on the left-hand side with Greenwald. All right, we gave you a little visual tool to see who's who and where they stand on this topic. Mellon's a very pivotal figure. I want to get his cousin in here, his first cousin.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
So actually, I misspoke. This was a conversation between Arrow director Sean Kirkpatrick and Chris Mellon about a month before the hearing. So
this is between Kirkpatrick and Chris Mellon.
Yes, which he did release a statement today where he was like, I think I have that somewhere too. Maybe we should just read that first. He was like, I didn't expect my private DMs to get leaked. They never do, huh? Dude, but what have I been telling you, bro, for like the past year and a half?
Drink water, exercise.
No, that people think things don't get out, dude, and they always get out. Like, no conversation is sacred.
Oh yeah, dude. Everyone should be operating in this field like their DMs and everything can get subpoenaed. You know what I mean? Like I've seen some DMs from UAP Mike recently.
Or UAP Mike, yeah. I was
King Milkfart, uplifting tweets, Leah Prime, where they are actively plotting harassment campaigns, and that's not going to look good. It doesn't look good now. It won't look good when it's compiled. It's a bad move.
Make your DMs whistleblower and FOIA proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have nothing to hide. But before we read these text messages, this is what Chris Mellon had to say about this today. To my surprise, parts of a conversation I had with Dr. Kirkpatrick on Signal, so that's even a double whammy for you, right? How much you want to bet he was like, oh, I'm on Signal, like, we're good. Like, you know what I mean?
Ain't no one safe out here, dude.
No, God! Your Signal chats can be FOIA'd, everyone. Just whatever you're doing in backroom, your Discords, everything can be FOIA'd. To my surprise, parts of a conversation I had with Dr. Kirkpatrick on Signal were recently made public via a FOIA request. These messages simply relate to my effort to facilitate a meeting between Arrow and Dave Grush at Dr. Kirkpatrick's request. I don't give out people's contact info without their consent, but I told Sean I would be happy to convey his request to Dave. My recollection is that Dave was going to consult his attorney and proceed from there. Dave has an excellent attorney, so if he was advised by counsel not to meet with Arrow or others, I certainly don't blame him. I was not in a position to judge the legal arguments and issues involving conflicting IC, IG, DOJ, and Arrow jurisdiction and claims. I was simply trying to facilitate communications in the hope of helping the congressionally mandated investigation. All right, that's good. I mean, right? Let's read it if that's what happened here. Do you want to take someone and I'll take the other person? Oh, I didn't share this to have instead. There we go.
I'm down. Let's see it. Okay, where are we at? Which one do you want to be, though?
Maybe you be Kirkpatrick.
Okay. Am I gray or blue?
I think I'm gray. So yeah, hi, Sean. Look at how they write to you.
Sick.
So, thanks. So we don't know what they thanks. What was that thanks to, guys? What was he thinking?
Good luck with your new house. Good luck building your new dream house. So,
and to remind everyone, I am Chris Mellon in this situation, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put you on this side too. But there I'm on the right side now too.
I'm filthy tie chain wearing enemy of disclosure, Sean Kirkpatrick, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. Grush has made claims that he's contacted us and we've never responded. That's just not true. He's also made claims that we don't have access to investigate his claims. That's also not true. If I recall correctly, you indicated he refused to come talk with us, and you're quoted as suggesting as such. I'd suggest you emphasize the need to come speak with us. You have that contact email.
Very, very interesting. Because also, now, remind you, this conversation is I think 3 or 4 days after Grush went public. Grush went public in June of 2023 with the Ross Coulthart News Nation long form interview, remember? And then it was about a month later was the hearing. So this is right after he went public. I think he must have pooped at Arrow right in that interview. Although I should have pulled it, but there's so much stuff to go through, guys. Hi, Sean. Do you have a specific example of Dave claiming he's contacted Arrow and your office refused to respond? That sounds strange, as during a conversation yesterday, he told me Arrow was not a lawfully designated recipient of his whistleblower info. Hence his reason for not contacting Arrow. I also do not recall saying Dave refused to come talk to Arrow. I certainly did not do so in the debrief article or my article in Politico, and I've done no interviews yet about Dave. And this is also, remember, it was Leslie Keene, the debrief, Ross Coulthart, they all kind of broke this story. All right, and you're up.
It was on the interview Sunday. Pentagon is preparing a response. His assertion that we aren't lawfully empowered is clearly incongruous with the law.
I'll be happy to check on that. Contrary to press reports, Dave still retains his attorney, who is former NSA and ICIG. Chuck should know if anyone does.
There is a significant misconception between the authorities in question. The Title 50 authorities we done have are for CI purposes, not taking in information. The law is very clear about that, and if he has a concern, he should have his attorney discuss with OGC. We've have many people come share appropriately the information they have from various places. Chuck is wrong if that's his advice. Chuck Schumer, by the way, right?
His attorney might be named Chuck. I'll be happy to raise with Dave and get back to you.
If nothing else, he needs to contact us and we'll introduce his attorney to OGC.
I'll reach out to him today. I spoke with Dave and his first question was, why hadn't Arrow gotten all the info from the ICIG? It is all there and fully documented to include confirmation the program is real from active, cleared insiders.
DOJ has to release it since it's part of a criminal investigation. They haven't yet. He needs to come tell us separate from his criminal complaint.
That's interesting.
It is.
Because, yeah, Grush is claiming all these, reprisals and harassment things, right? So I guess this criminal investigation into the elements of his claims are halting this flow of information, it would seem. He obviously doesn't have to do so, and he even said, how do I know Sean is not a target of the ongoing criminal investigation? Boom, boom, boom. Do you hear that, Tupa? That's a shot fired from Grush, if I ever heard one.
It is.
And now let's say, I mean, hopefully Chris Mellon isn't just straight up lying about what Grush said. Let's take this at face value that Grush did say this to Chris Mellon. He obviously doesn't have to, and so he even said, "How do I know Sean is not a target of the ongoing criminal investigation?" He's basically accusing Sean Kirkpatrick of potentially being one of the people behind these weird reprisals and harassments he's faced.
Yes,
and
it sounds like he's excusing Grush's lack of communication by saying Grush is actually suspicious of their whole operation. And he's like, he has reason, you know what I mean, to be suspicious, basically. And for him to leak that to Kirkpatrick is like a slap in the face. Like, we don't even know who you are, dog. Why am I sending my guy to you? I sent you 3 other dudes. Going to say, okay, let's go on.
Well, and it's not even just like we don't even know who you are. It's like you could be the person who's actively doing horrible things to my family. That's a pretty big accusation, bro. That's pretty wild to hear typed out. That's pretty. I don't know, chat. What do you guys think of this? Is Grush right to say, how do I know Sean is not a target of the ongoing criminal investigation? And on the other end, maybe he is. I personally don't think so.
But we're hearing that secondhand. I think the question we have to ask ourselves is Mellon right for communicating that to Kirkpatrick? Right? Because it now calls into question, did Grush even say that? Or is Mellon playing cards here?
And also, great point Heather was making me think of. He's saying this after he talked to his attorney, who's former NSA ICIG guy. It's really weird, dude. That's as far as these bureaucrat stuff goes, that's a pretty big shot across the bow. But let's continue. Let me just read it one more time. How do I know Sean is not a target of the ongoing criminal investigation? Actually, this is what I thought when I first read it, so I'm just going to do it again. How do I know that Sean is not a target of the ongoing criminal investigation?
Damn!
That's a bureaucratic damn, if I ever heard one. All right. However, that being said, I explained your request. Mellon's a low-key little snake here, bro. He's like throwing out this job and being like, "Oh, but you know what? I looked into it for you, though." You know what I mean? But he's riding with this.
I think low key and little snake might not scratch the surface of what we're reading here. I think he's high key, kind of being a big snake, and like at the very least, you know, you can sense when this kind of attorney language, these kind of like backhanded threats, and like it's here. The language is there for that.
What's up with this exclamation point in parentheses right after that quote from Grush? Is that Mellon adding on his own little like, I also might think this? What is this? You see what I'm talking about here?
I feel like it's like the Metal Gear Solid alert sound. Like, you know what I mean? That's what
it's kind of blurry on the screen, but it's definitely an exclamation point in parentheses.
It's not in the
quote. What do you make of that?
I think that he's emphasizing it.
Like Mellon is on his own, right? Like he's emphasizing what Grush said.
Yes.
That's what I think too. So actually, this is way more of a shot across the bow than I thought. But then Semi-Snake Mellon goes, however, that being said, I explained your request regarding having his attorney to contact OGC and suggested he do so to show full cooperation. He said that if you can provide OGC's contact info, he'll pass it on to his attorney. By the way, he also said his claim about contacting you dates to a conversation the two of you had many months ago on Tanberg. SP ? On a Tanberg. What's a Tanberg, Tuba? Does anyone know? Tanberg system, I guess.
Why is it in quotes too? Okay, I'll look it up. You keep reading.
Okay, cool. System, and that you didn't follow up after that call. So, back to the big, broad who ghosted who. The earliest date of ghosting accusations I see is this, right? Grush also said his claim about contacting you dates to a conversation the two of you had many months ago on Tanberg system, and that you didn't follow up after that call. I'm not trying to adjudicate that issue, just telling you what he said. Apparently, that is what his statement was referring to. So you can provide an OGC email or number. I'll get that to Dave right away, and hopefully his attorney will promptly contact OGC. All right, you're up. I don't know if you're still searching.
All of that is both absurd and false. Real quick, Tanberg appears to be a type of communication platform that was incorporated by Cisco Systems a while back. So that just means, my guess is that it's a secured group chat, group call, conference call system. That's my guess.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And I could be wrong, chat, if you guys know, pop in here, but I don't think it's kind of inconsequential. All of that is both absurd and false. Let me start that again. Sean Kirkpatrick has just read Christopher Mellon, right, saying that Grush is now wondering if he, Kirkpatrick, if I am a target of the criminal investigation related to harassment. All of that is both absurd and false. I've had a conversation. Sure.
When you say it like that, you know what this reminds me of, bro? This is kind of making me think of Lou reviews. Like, are you a felon? Have you ever had a felony? Like, it's giving me that kind of energy, right? Like,
right away.
Like these weird, like, open broad accusations, like hypothetical accusations of.
You know what it is? It's patronizing bullshit from people who don't think you're smart. That's what it is. And that's the tone isn't, it's manipulation, but it's also a complete disrespectful position to take when you're talking to somebody, to think that you could play this word salad shit and then it's just going to like not be seen through or whatever. And there was like a fucking 50-page response that Mellon gave Greenwald a while back while they were disputing and having like a back and forth, right? And like it was similar to this. So yeah, I think the language is similar. I think that it's absolutely should be called the attention should be called to it. All of that is both absurd and false. I've had the conversation with him for years. If he wants this brought out and investigated, then yes, he obviously does have to. His continued refusal to speak with us only hurts his case. I've contacted Congressional OGC to reach out to him so they can explain the law. Haven't had a conversation for years. Our statement will simply be that he's refused to speak with Arrow.
Damn, so even before the hearing, there was already this kind of weird energy. But just so the audience knows exactly what I'm talking about, and it is kind of a fun clip, right? This is the vibe I get from the little exchange. Let's see.
The Felon 5 text.
This is when Stephen Greenstreet went on Lee Reviews, like after all the question and all that stuff, and then he asked him, like, "Are you a felon?" Yeah.
Have you ever been arrested for beating a woman, or do you have a felon for any of these crazy kinds of crimes?
I'm sorry. Wait. So what's the question again? Like,
how is this not a meme yet?
For what you're asking me.
So people have been posting.
So Lou Elizondo did not email you referring to me as a felon.
No, not an email. No,
not an email.
Okay, no, these are like so parallel in so many ways. I feel like Kirkpatrick's response to reading that text message from Mellon was probably just like Greenstreet's response was here. Like, did you really just accuse me of being like part of this investigation, of this criminal investigation? Because
it's a soft threat that the reader has to use their own assumptions and they have to jump to conclusions to realize they're being threatened. It asks the reader to do the math for them, so it's not clearly stated in the text. These guys write like lawyers. Something's wrong.
How do I know that Sean Kirkpatrick is not a target of the ongoing criminal investigation? Bro, he pretty much hit him with the, "Are you a felon? Are you being criminally investigated right now?" But I do want to point out, Beats and Meats in the chat said, "If I was Grush, I'd be suspicious of everybody, considering the reprisals he says he faced. He has every right to be suspicious of Sean Kirkpatrick." Which, to a degree, I agree. But also the callback with, when I was listening to that Greenstreet clip we just played, who do you think is influencing Grush to the point of thinking, is Sean Kirkpatrick a felon? You know what I mean? I'm sure it's people probably.
I got two guesses. I'll give the chat two guesses. You know?
Yeah.
So like, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a group, let's call them the pro-disclosure movement. Mellon, Grush, Elizondo, Eric Davis, Jay Stratton. I mean, the list goes on. It's these guys, right? And they've been a core group. They are the core group. They caught wind that Kirkpatrick wasn't playing ball. Kirkpatrick wanted them to come in and talk to them. They had their own way to go about it because of the things that they know. They're lawyers. They're skirting the laws. They're implying enough. They're trying to drop enough hints. But if Grush goes and talks to Arrow, then Arrow can make their own assessment of what he's talking about, what he said. And maybe Grush isn't that well trained yet to be on a one-on-one with someone like Kirkpatrick. Maybe he wasn't, learned yet, as they like to say over there. Like, then you have them getting wind that this is going to happen. He says right here, what's the date on this? Our statement will simply be that he's refused to speak with Arrow. They knew.
This is June 13th. So
fucking
it's like
June 13th?
Is that Juneteenth? Yeah.
No, I'm just saying June 13th is crazy because the disclosure movement and their media assets have completely prepared for the dumping of this of the Arrow report. They knew that they weren't complying with it. They knew that they weren't giving them the pieces that they needed, and they knew that Kirkpatrick wasn't vibing with it. They even soft threatened him. Like they knew the position they were going to take on this months and months ago. And then if you go and you look at any of their media assets, how they prepared this community to receive the Arrow report is all part of this plan. They knew it was coming. They prepared us for it. They made sure that I didn't say Juneteenth, guys. I said June 16th and I yelled a little too loud. So, but they knew. They knew. I feel patronized by reading. When I read Chris Mellon, I feel like he doesn't respect my intelligence. And when I see it and I think back on what has happened, I again feel like our intelligence is not being respected here. But to see that this is how he talks to even like Kirkpatrick is interesting.
Bro, I'm
very, very interesting.
Such callbacks to that. I just want to reiterate again. Like, so what do we know? Mellon has said that Elizondo, who's the guy with the portal dinosaur? Why am I drawing a blank?
Eric Davis. He cannot tell a lie.
And Hal Pudov all went to Arrow. And I'm assuming, this is my assumption here, they probably were like, Kona Blue is where the real deal is. Kirkpatrick looks into it. Whether true or not, maybe he's lying, is like, Kona Blue isn't anything. Because you have to think, we know, right? The whole deal of this is that Grush has never spoken with Kirkpatrick. So his assumptions that Sean Kirkpatrick could potentially be part of this ongoing criminal investigation is having to come from someone else, right? He's not able to make that from like any interactions he's had with the man because these haven't happened. So me being cope mode, still liking Grush, at the very least, someone else framed Kirkpatrick in a way to Grush where this is on his mind as a possibility, which honestly, bro, this is like bar for bar at different scales, different levels. It totally reminds me of that Felon thing with Green Street and Lou reviews, right? Because we later learned that Elizondo was the one. You're muted, by the way. We later learned Elizondo was the one who was putting in Lou review's ear that Green Street's a felon, and then he gets him to like ask this question, right? So we should post both statements back to back on Twitter so people can kind of make their own, their own conclusions on that one. Because I think you're right. There is a unified front when it comes down to this, and that's for damn sure. Be sure to hit that like button if you guys are liking the show tonight. Share it out. I mean, this show's picking up some speed, some momentum. We're loving the fans that we have. We're loving the chat right now. But I think more people need to see this kind of stuff because it is the minority voice out here. To be able to analyze this in this depth is crazy. I'm just so shocked that I read that right now. But and then back to what he says, right? And I'm just going to read the part you had said. This is Kirkpatrick. All of that is absurd and false. Like, I mean, I feel like he's like, what the heck? I feel like he's really much reading this like Green Street. I didn't pick up on this, though. I have had conversation with him for years. For years, they've talked. That's interesting, right? Yes. This is very weird, bro. What are you thinking right now? Weird, right? Are we sure we read a little more? Yeah. Let's finish this up. How long does this conversation go on, by the way? There's like, damn. We'll read through it fast. I think, and when I was listening to Spaces earlier too, a lot of people were harping in on that part of. Apparently, I heard people saying. I think King Okada, who might be in the live chat, shouts out King, was saying like, Kirkpatrick's energy changed after this. Like, how do I know Sean is not a target of the ongoing investigation thing? So we'll read through the rest of it fast. But he called it absurd. It's absurd. That's correct. Dude, response. That's wild. Yes. Oh man, I would love to know why. If I could ask David Grush anything, I'd be like, why do you think that? Or is there valid reason to think that? Maybe there totally is valid reason to think that. I just want to know where that's coming from. But yes, okay. I'll finish. Our statement will simply be that he's refused to speak with Arrow. Okay, sounds good. I'm Chris Mellon again, everyone, by the way. Happy to help when I can. Don't hesitate to kick my tires if I'm off base on something. Interesting. By the way, there isn't a congressional OGC as such. There are congressional lawyers that get law. Interesting. Another kind of weird little interaction. To be clear, whom should Dave expect to hear from if you cannot provide a POC at DOD, point of contact at Department of Defense?
Vet law.
Hill OGC generally advises members only. They advise their employers, not members of the public.
It's either a lawyer at the Hill or a lawyer in DOD. Who am I sending them to? Either the law is the law, or we can scrub having anyone else come and see Arrow.
Interesting. This is again, you can feel the temperature heating up between this exchange, right? It started very friendly, and now it's kind of like
Kirkpatrick's fucking done with this shit, dude. He's
like, yeah.
Because they're playing a game, dude. Like, this is a game. And he's like, listen, I'll just send him over. And then he's like, now Mel's going to correct him. Well, is that the right guy to send him to? Are we sure that the system, are you just blissfully ignorant here on how this works? And then Kirkpatrick's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Just have him send it here. Either you want him to, either the law's a law, or we just don't have to have him come in and talk to us, dude. Like, figure it out, Melon. These mind games, dude.
And we do got a lovely super chat from our member.
Oh, yeah.
The nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. They getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Buddy James saying that we need a tribunal to remove Melon from the field of ufology. I don't think we have that power, or should have it. But Buddy, I appreciate it. God, it's good having Buddy in here. It's good bringing on like a lot of our fans from Twitter into the mix. But yeah, this is
friends.
Bad.
Yeah, and chat real quick as we continue reading. I just want to hear yours, and maybe we'll read out the end. Was it out of pocket for David Grush to be like, "Are you are you part of the criminal investigation, Sean Kirkpatrick?"
We don't know if he said that. We don't know if Grush said it. We just know that Mellon said that Grush said it. And we don't even know the context in which he said it to him in. That could have been a suggestion from Mellon to Grush, and then Grush just like, yeah, I don't know. And now Mellon's reiterating it to Kirkpatrick to get him like off kilter a little bit. You know what I mean?
That would be super snaky if that was the case. That would be like, dude, I don't even know what I would do if I was Grush in that situation.
I would bet money that Kirkpatrick doesn't believe that Grush said that. I would bet money.
Yeah. So yeah, he just ends with saying we can scrub having anyone else come to Arrow. That's some weird energy going on here. You can't tell Chuck to go to various committees on the Hill. It needs to be someone who represents Arrow in the executive branch. There are a dozen Hill committees with majority and minority counsel who may not even agree.
Depends on how badly people want this sorted. Send me Chuck's contact info.
Not without his permission, obviously. How about I relay your contact info here to Chuck? This will get sorted. Of that, I have no doubt. It is only a matter of how quickly and by whom.
I'm not giving my contact info out, given the harassment and threats. That's why we have a secure mechanism.
Dude.
And yes, you are defending and adjudicating. And you're undermining the very organization you purported to help establish for this purpose. Bingo!
Bro, there's so much to unpack there. Sorry, like, this is fascinating to me. I'm not. He's saying so now. He's hitting him back with the "I don't trust you, bro. I'm not giving you my phone number. I've been getting harassed and threatened, and I think if I give my phone number to you, that could increase." He's
right.
He's absolutely tying Chris Mellon to the harassment here, and that and the whole. And what do we always say? Like, be careful who you give your number to when ufology, bro. Like, real talk. That's a real thing. He might have been listening to some of our spaces, Sean Kirkpatrick. And then the second point I want to make, look at, we've already had lots of speech, blah, blah, blah. He still comes right back to that thing, dude. How do I know Sean Kirkpatrick is not a target? He replies to that message, right? So it was still on his mind. He was pissed, especially, I mean, bro, dude, Sean Kirkpatrick, come on this show, man. We got to talk to you, dude. We have to talk. This is wild, bro.
We have to talk.
He is tying Christopher Mellon to the harassment he sees with this response, in my opinion.
He's at least saying your nose isn't clean. I don't know who you are, dude.
He's at least saying I can't trust giving you my number.
Yes.
I can't trust you with my contact info. Wow, this is wild.
I'm gonna have to go audio only for just a quick second, okay?
All right, I'm gonna continue then.
Mm-hmm.
As Chris Mellon, everyone as a reminder. Really? ? Odd. I try to bring everyone to Arrow. I can. I'm trying to help put Dave in touch with your general counsel. If you can provide some simple contact info. I'm not judging the claims between you and Dave and have not claimed his claims are accurate. I've said he is sincere and credible, and his and other claims, which I expressly called allegations, warrant investigation. I have no idea what you or Dave discussed or when, and I'm not taking a position on that or even the underlying claim of recovered materials. So I'm kind, ... read more. Interesting. We don't know what that says. Dave can now say, Sean has refused to provide me or my attorney the contact information that would allow us to discuss legal concerns we have with providing testimony to Arrow. I am not your enemy, and I am not saying this to provoke or irritate you. Moreover, having once been in similar jobs, I recognize you have a big pile of work and responsibility on your plate. I only mention this because it seems you must have some legal representation, and assuming that they are competent, it seems to me a discussion it would help to get Dave's testimony into our system. That, it seems to me, should be a win for all.
Jesus Christ, Melon. I've asked OGC for contact info.
So he's like, nope, I'm not giving you my contact info, even though you just did like a really extended re-asking of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is weird, bro.
Yep.
This is really weird. Great, he says. Also, remember, it all started because Melon didn't want to give the contact info of his guy, right? And now he's giving this whole long paragraph of like, this is weird, bro. All right, great, he says.
Waiting to hear back.
I will be happy to provide that to Dave and Chuck if you like. I think you have a fascinating and important job, and I want nothing more than to see the process work. Please don't think I'm out to make your job harder.
Actually, Dave can't say any such thing since he hasn't asked me for anything, only you. And then here we go.
Is that him saying that Dave Grush is out here trying to make his job harder? I think it is.
No. He's saying that I think that is he replying to that? Like, I don't think Dave can't say any such thing. Go up. I'd be happy to provide it. Weird.
Oh, maybe he's saying this thing, this hypothetical that Melon thinks.
Yeah, it would help to get Dave's testimony into your system.
I think it's this hypothetical that he's saying Dave can now say Sean has refused to provide me or my attorney the contact information that would allow us to discuss legal concerns we have. So I think he's saying Dave can't say that.
You're right.
Okay. Actually, he probably can and might. Is that a threat with a smile?
Yeah.
Bro.
Well, Melon is constantly correcting Sean Kirkpatrick. He doesn't constantly correcting him. No matter what Sean wants to say and do, Melon's like, actually, like this is a double actually. It's two Oscar dude, this is crazy.
Also, the way Melon's acting post refusal to give his contact info is making me more uncomfortable if I'm Sean Kirkpatrick. Like, he asked for it, you're like, no, I'm cool, I've been harassed. Then he does this really weird, long extent of like basically telling you in 50 different ways why you should give him the contact info, and you're like, no, it's still cool. And now he's like, actually, Dave might say that thing that you're saying he can't say about this contact info, so why don't you just give it to me? Right? It's like the third persistence on that topic. Wow, really, really strange.
And look how they attacked him.
Yeah,
look how they did him.
But that doesn't matter. I have no specific reason to believe he will, and I am not proposing that to him. Really? Dude, what? Then why say that? He probably can and might, but I don't think he will. Like, bro, this is some weird intimidation shit going on here.
He probably might.
Just trying to close the loop and move things toward a good outcome. Thanks.
It's a repeat.
Oh, is that a repeat?
Yep. We're down into the blue. This is official position of the Pentagon, released to the media Tuesday, approved by OGC and the Secretary. Quote, by law, Arrow may receive all UAP-related information, including any classified national security information involving military intelligence and intelligence-related activities, at all levels of classification, regardless of any restrictive access controls, special access programs, or compartmented access programs. Moreover, there is no restriction to Arrow receiving any past or present UAP-related info, is what I'm going to say that IN means.
Okay, so it looks like there was no connection. It seems like a ghost on Grush's end, honestly, right here. I passed that along to, and now they're forced to give like this official statement, right? Because there's been no thing. I passed that along to Dave for his attorney's review. Per your message above, I'll seek to avoid further communication unless it is something that it seems extraordinarily urgent or you initiate. Well, okay. I'll get that off to Dave and his attorney this morning. Thanks. And that's that one. I don't even know who this is from or by. Let's
Yeah,
just
now-
be real quick. This one's short. This is like a page. I don't actually.
But what is it? Is it from the same day, same conversation? Should we cover what we know so far?
Yeah, let's review what just happened in that exchange because actually a lot happened there. That was weird.
No, this is nuts. This is nuts. This is weird access to conversations that it looked like it was written in order to skirt Mellon's own lawyers, like what's the word? Like, reprimand or whatever. But it was not written for the public eye to see, for this community to see. I'll say that. We're back. There we go.
Yeah, for sure. The things that stick out to me are one, they're cordial, right? And then the first slight towards non-cordiality is, of course, is how do I know Sean Kirkpatrick is not the target of an ongoing investigation? Which to me totally just reads just like the "Are you a felon?" thing with Green Street.
Something to note, Red. It's not just that he said that. Look at how Mellon's tone changes after Kirkpatrick's rapid fire response. All right, he goes from he obviously doesn't want it, blah, 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 and he doesn't even know if you're target of this criminal investigation, yada, yada, yada. Kirkpatrick goes, all of that is fucking absurd and false. I've contacted OGC, yada, yada, yada. Our statement will simply be that he refused to speak with Arrow. Kirkpatrick saying hardball, dicks on the table. There it is, wear it. Then Mellon changes his tune and goes, okay, sounds good. Happy to help when I can. The fuck is that, dude? Like, that's such a weird flip.
And then ask for his number multiple times.
Yes.
This is the other thing that's going to me, that he asked for his number multiple times, and Kirkpatrick was the one to tie him to say, I'm not giving you my number because I've been harassed. That's an accusation in itself. But then Mellon gets really creepy and weird with it and asks for it. He asked for it again with this really long. Let's see. He asked for the contact info. Where is it? I'm not giving out my contact info given the harassment and threats. That's why we have this secure mechanism. And then right after that, he replies to the initial thing of, how do I know Sean is a part of the criminal investigation? You see this?
Yes.
So like he's connecting those in his mind, whether he's thinking it or not, like overtly to tell Mellon.
Yeah.
But
dude, the chat hates this. Look at their like schizo shit, hostile relationship.
Yeah.
Dude, give me your number so I can touch you. Yes. It's very strange. I'm glad you guys are seeing this. It is very weird.
And then after asking a second time with this really long and cut out thing, he's like, actually, Dave might actually put out that statement that you just got upset about, that the whole reason we're talking. He actually might just put it out again. So why didn't you just give me your contact info? Like, very creepy, bro. Very
What's
strange.
the time difference between Kirkpatrick's actually and Mellon's actually? Go down a little bit. I want to see how fast he replied.
Okay, let's see. 7:15, 7:16. They're all
that's a Kirkpatrick thinking about that response. Actually, Dave can't say any such thing. All right, and he hasn't asked me for anything. Only you have, which looks a little sketch. Within a minute, Mellon actually he probably can and might, but that doesn't matter. I have no specific reason to believe he will. The fuck are you saying he can and might then? Actually is like a correction. All right. Here's Kirkpatrick. He can't say any such thing, meaning he can't say that, what was it that he's saying that he can't say? That, Dave will just say that he reached out to you, couldn't get yada, yada. Dave can't say such a thing. Actually, he can, but I don't think he will.
He might say it publicly in another interview. The whole reason you're upset in this first place. Wow, very strange. I could see the argument from Mellon's side, right? Of being like, I asked for his contact info, you know what I mean? But it's, like I said, dude, the fact that he was refusing to give him his number, and he's tying it to the harassment he's received. Pretty telling. And the fact that Dave Grush potentially may have been like, Sean Kirkpatrick might be the criminal. Dude, something's up here. Something very strange is up.
Actually, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, Michael. Actually, the chat's going wild with this one, dude. This does not look great. You know what we should do? You know what I'm going to do, and I think we should cover in the show maybe tomorrow, is this conversation now in retrospect compared to the rollout of the Arrow report and the pre-rollout of the basically people getting prepared and preparing the community for what Arrow was about to release. That was in the mix. We have the history is there. We have the tweets, we have the messages, the timeline. So I wonder when we look back and see how the pillars of disclosure prepared for the report from Arrow and Kirkpatrick compared to this text, I think would be very interesting. Bad optics. That's the best way to put it. And you know what? I got to be fair. Reading text is not the same as hearing someone speak. We could be applying a lot of extra stuff to this, but it still doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It still doesn't look good.
Yeah, so reminding our timeline, Grush comes out June 2023, June 8th, I think. He says Arrow has basically ghosted him in his initial Ross Coulthart thing. He hasn't talked with Arrow, putting the onus on Kirkpatrick, prompting this conversation we see here, right? Where it looks like they're trying to get each other's lawyer to like, they're trying to get each other's contact info, but it seems like not trusting of each other.
Which is weird to see between two professionals like this.
But in this initial exchange, we can clearly see the onus of like who's trying to talk to the other one. Is Kirkpatrick is very much trying to talk to Grush. Grush isn't trying to talk to Kirkpatrick, even going as far as to potentially have said, "Are you being criminally investigated in my criminal complaint?"
Tom says, those texts felt uncomfortable as fuck. They certainly
did, right?
Did.
I'm not looking too far into it, right? This is weird, bro.
I'm trying to tell you guys.
So then a
man,
month after this whole thing
wrong.
of like, hey, can you not go on the news and like disparage me? And when I'm trying to reach out to you, we'll hop back to this real quick. We won't play the full thing, just the real quick. This happens. Kirkpatrick sees this on TV.
Ms. Fox.
Thank you, Mr.
Don't go to the lady. Don't go to the
I'm
lady. No, okay.
Today.
You know, we get the gist where he's like, he disparages Arrow again. And then let's see.
Do you think he was coached to say what he said about Arrow when he said it? And the timeline read, I'm a little fuzzy here. Was this text conversation before Grush's statement?
Yes, exactly. So that's why Kirkpatrick was extra like, that's probably why he wrote this, because he's like, dude, I've talked to these guys behind the scenes. I've said, I've tried to reach out to Grush. He hasn't reached out to me. He went on his first rollout. He poop talked me on News Nation.
How did you say that again? I've never heard that.
Poop talked me?
There it is. There it is.
He poop talked me on News Nation. I tried to reach out to Mellon to say like, yo, let me talk to this guy. He hit me with I don't want to talk to you because you might be the one criminally investigated. You might be a criminal. Are you a felon, Greenstreet? Are you a felon, Kirkpatrick? And then the next thing he knows, a month later, he sees Grush again on national TV, this time in front of the Congress and the whole world, saying that, calling his whole office and his whole operation crap. And then this is like we said, this was the thing on LinkedIn the day after where he's like, I've tried to reach out to Grush multiple times. Yeah, pretty wild. And we're not even there's one more major FOIA thing, and there's actually another clip. Let me just pull up if you want to riff for a second. I just got to make sure I find the right clip.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong. There shouldn't be this much mud in the water for something that's begging for clarity. And why does it seem like the people who are begging for clarity are the ones also throwing mud in, clouding people's vision and making it difficult? What it looks like to me is that they are using and this is just what I can read, right? They're using every single tool at their disposal to create a narrative out of nothing. And I don't mean there's no aliens. I mean, they're creating a narrative. They're building the infrastructure, the scaffolding, the frame for something to get draped on, draped over, for some type of shanty town of ufology. They are building it. They are building it. And one of those things means getting rid of everything. Right? If you're going to go build something like a house, you need to get a solid foundation. You have to clear the earth. You're killing everything that's in there, on there. You're removing it, and you're laying down your own thing. And you want to prevent things from getting in. It looks like these government programs that were set up to bring us answers found different answers. Like Kirkpatrick's not the first person to say something's going on here. He named the same people that other people claim are behind the something going on. It's strange. These text messages are oddly intimidating. It matches the vibe and the tone of these other things that have happened for 4 or 5 years. From Lou Elizondo accusing people of being felons. And what the hell is happening? Something's going on. Now, I'm not saying that we're in a big-ass conspiracy or that, again, that UFOs aren't real. I fucking believe. I've seen shit. People I know and respect have seen shit. Something's going on there too. But when it comes down to disclosure, we're not getting the clear answers from the people who are saying we need clear answers. So why would we trust them to tell us anything? This is weird. It's weird.
Oh, we got breaking news. Can you hit me with the breaking news, Tupa?
On it.
Okay.
Breaking news. Red, hit us with it. What's going on?
I just tweeted about this whole situation.
We have breaking news. There is things unfolding. It looks like something was retweeted. Here we go.
So this is the initial thing from Mellon that we covered earlier, where he's like, to my surprise, parts of a conversation I had with Kirkpatrick on Signal were recently made public via FOIA. Lou Elizondo says, Chris, I wonder, when did DOD authorize Kirkpatrick to use the Signal app for official U.S. business and correspondence? You and I would have been crucified for doing that while we were in the government. And when did they allow personal identifiable info of U.S. citizens to be released contrary to the Privacy of 1974 Act? I guess it's more of the same regarding rules that apply to thee, but not to me. And this is an interesting point too, right? I've never seen a John Greenwald FOIA dump that had like iPhone messages, whether that would be on Signal. I think Kirkpatrick wanted this out, right?
I think he did too.
I think he totally wanted this exchange out. And why would he want it out?
Because he looks good and Mellon looks like a maniac is what I think. The optics are clear. It's clear. He's going like, he's short responses and by the book, whatever you're saying, Mellon, whatever, but it's by the book. We got to get John Warner. We got to have him, bro. We got to have this guy back next week. You know what I mean? There's a great community member who's Chris Mellon's first cousin, friend of the show. And he has a lot of stuff to say about Mellon. And I want to ask him what these texts reveal from his perspective, right? Because John Warner IV is a good guy. He's a good dude. And he's been around for a while. And he's no joke, right? Tell us a little bit about the Warner family, Red. Why is it so important? Who's John Warner IV?
John Warner is a cousin of Chris Mellon, I think, on his mom's side. But they're all old money. The Mellons are old money, right? And I think Chris Mellon's done a lot of good work, you know?
Carnegie Mellon.
That's them. The Mellon Bank. Yeah, and John Warner's kind of one of these, like, from that aristocratic cast, if you want, in America. And he's kind of calling out a lot of the weird stuff in this movement, you know what I mean? I'm curious when the last time they even talked was. I'm sure Mellon probably does not want to talk to him much anymore.
I don't think so. I'm sure those family reunions are awkward.
So here's the vibe. Here's shouts out Phil, who clipped this one on Twitter. Great meme maker. Here's the vibe that was presented to the community, if you will. Jeremy Corbell is about to read Sean Kirkpatrick's, I think, one of the op-eds he wrote on his way out, right? So,
as of the time of my departure, none, let me repeat, none of the conspiracy-minded, in quote, whistleblowers in the public eye had elected to come to Arrow to provide their, quote, evidence and statement for the record, despite numerous invitations. So let's just take David Grush. Is that true? It's not true. That's a lie. So there are FOIA-able back and forths between Kirkpatrick and David Grush that will become public. I have seen them. As of the time of my departure, numerous invitations. So let's just take David Grush. Is that true? It's not true. That's a lie.
Tupa, as of the time of my departure, none, let me repeat, none of the conspiracy-minded whistleblowers in the public eye had elected to come to Arrow to provide their evidence and statement for the record, despite numerous invitations. Based on this FOIA release we got today, that sounds about right?
Yeah, it does.
And Corbell saying that that's a lie sounds inaccurate.
It sounds insane. It sounds insane. This guy sat here and told us and tried to tell us that a FOIA was a lie. We are now looking at evidence of that Corbell's lying. Why is Corbell digesting information for us that should be given to us by politicians and officials, and then he's coming out first before they can come out and establishing to his following, to his audience, to the community, to Joe Rogan, what's a lie and what isn't. And in this instance, it looks like he was busted in a lie himself. That's what it looks like, which is strange. God damn, that's strange. It's not as good as his song. The song's pretty tight.
Of one, Kirkpatrick being pissed about the claim that Arrow is ghosting David Grush. And we've seen evidence of Kirkpatrick reaching out to Grush and have him come in and talk multiple times and being hit with you might be a felon. Are you a felon?
And I want to add context to this, right? This is a little bit extra context from what Corbell was talking about. I think this might help.
Look, man, from zero to Jeremy, what's my freedom to speak here, George?
Go for it.
Yeah, be myself, you always say, right? Cool.
It's your birthday.
Thank you. Total fucking horse shit. And Kirkpatrick is a piece of dog shit. Total fucking horse shit. He's a suit. Is a liar. Is a piece of dog shit. Total fucking horse shit. He's a suit. Is a liar. Is a piece of dog shit.
Jesus Christ.
This is pretty wild stuff happening here. And then this happened also.
Oh, well, time out. It's George Knapp's birthday. Happy birthday, George.
Happy birthday, George Knapp, friend of the show, dude.
We are dragging your co-host, but we are concerned. But that has nothing to do with your birthday. Happy birthday. Thanks for all you do, George.
All right, let's watch this. So this was in November, and I think this was the day before this email exchange we're going to read between Grush and Arrow's staff. But let's watch this first. Shouts out Stephen Greenstreet, friend of the show, clipped it.
That
oh wait, oops. Arrow... oh my god. I was like, boom, I hit that clean. Oh shoot.
There we go. We're back in business.
There's sort of this sense among some whistleblowers, Grush included, that Arrow is trying to sort of cover up what happened. And this quote here is interesting. Basically, Dr. Kirkpatrick today said that he had tried reaching out to UFO whistleblower David Grush several times to talk to him recently and didn't get a response. David Grush sent me that text message and said, I have 0 emails or calls from them. That is a lie. So David Grush says, despite what the director said in the briefing, that has not happened. There's
what do you think of that, people?
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Oh, great play there, sir. That was awesome. That was great.
We have the fucking text. We have the text now. This is crazy. This should have been news. I'm glad Greenwald posted this. I'm pumped he got this. I'm fucking jazzed. This might be the most breaking news day of all of this stuff, because we're dealing with a narrative that was set up before we even started Skyfire News that might be collapsing in front of our very fucking eyes. Yeah. We gotta keep our eye on this. I mean, it seems like they're taking L after L after L. Where are their W's? Where's the craft that's buried underneath of a building in Korea? Where's the Roswell papers? Where's the non-human biologics? Why is Stephen Cambion still able to keep track of how many days Grush has promised something and has yet to deliver, dude? Why are we giving Cambion ammo? I'm gonna have to wear sunglasses every day. I'm turning into Cambion. I'm gonna grow my hair out. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I gotta get the Oakleys. I gotta talk to Shane, get his hookup, dude.
Dude, let's play this one more time, and then we'll read the emails.
It's crazy though, because we're seeing how the media is spinning statements, but we're also able to see the text conversation of how kind of nuanced those were, which were like, have him come to me. No, I'll have him do this. Have him come to me. Give me your phone number. I'm not going to do that because of the harassment. All right, just have him come to me. Well, he might say that, he might release a statement that you never returned his phone calls. He can't say that. All right, just fucking have him come to me. Actually, he can and he might, but maybe he won't. Give me your phone number and your address. No, that's the extent of that message. And here we get to see how did News Nation get this story? Who is News Nation? Who started News Nation? Can we audit them?
They're tied to George Knapp's company. And real quick too, but you made a great point. And let's just watch this. This is a short 2-minute clip. Here's Sean Kirkpatrick. Oh, actually, so 2 days after the interview we just watched. Actually, let's play this one more time, and then.
There's sort of this sense among some whistleblowers, Grush included, that Arrow is trying to sort of cover up what happened. And this quote here is interesting. Basically, Dr. Kirkpatrick today said that he had tried reaching out to UFO whistleblower David Grush several times to talk to him recently and didn't get a response. David Grush sent me that text message and said, I have 0 emails or calls from them. That is a lie. So David Grush says, despite what the director said in the briefing, that has not happened.
So yeah,
have patience on me. Don't give up on me. I'm on cosmic time.
He says, why didn't Mellon just give Kirkpatrick Grush's lawyer's email? I think that's a fair question. Why didn't he just do it? And then why did he shame him for not wanting to share? It kind of gives me whistleblower UAP Mike like trying to get in those DMs. Like he wanted to get his contact info, right? It's like, how can I entice you to give me your phone number?
Yeah.
And Kirkpatrick probably picked up on exactly what Art said. Like, why don't you just give me that? Why are you adamant? Why are you now sending like a 3-paragraph thing of why you need to give me your contact info? And let me just see this real quick. This is from October 31st. I wanted to play this to. Let's stop sharing real quick. Okay, here we go.
Chat says News Nation is Illuminati. I don't think that.
So the email exchange we're about to read happened right around the same time as this, and like I said, dude, Kirkpatrick has literally talked about harassment like probably just as much as we have, if we're being real, in terms of like percentage of public comments.
When he's got the mic, there's a significant percentage of his time spent on talking about what he, his coworkers, and his family endured throughout this process.
Yeah. At the first NASA hearing, he did.
Yep.
At the second NASA hearing, he did. To Chris Mellon in DMs, he did. Here's this email exchange we're about to read now, where Grush was like, "Oh, I got the date wrong" or something like that. This is what he had to say about harassment. This is what was on his mind.
Sean Kirkpatrick describes the harassment he has received from the UFO hate group.
A persistent question has to do with a senior technical advisory group that you must have stood up, that is helping advise the work you do. So they're just questions about that group. What is it made up of?
Pause real quick. We don't have it here, but this thing was first raised on Matt Ford's show, The Good Trouble Show, from his sources, that there's a senior advisory group within Arrow that's basically like the Illuminati running everything. So the fact that Kirkpatrick's about to go into the harassment talk right after getting asked by that, he's analyzing that question right now. Look at his face right there. He's like, what are you asking me? Why are you asking me this? Why are you asking me this thing that Matt Ford, Bangkok Ford on The Good Trouble Show just said yesterday? He's like, you know what I mean? In the same way, this is the same face he probably made. This is his Green Street face. Yeah. This is the face he probably made when Chris Mellon is hitting him with are you the one being criminally investigated? Let's see.
Are these people from outside government? Is this that academic and scientific community you just referenced?
So it's a strategic technical advisory group. They don't like to be called senior. And they actually do work. They're the review board for, the analytic framework consists of multiple layers of review, and they're one of the layers of review. We don't give out names and identities of anybody associated with this office other than me and a handful of very specific people, because of the fact that the harassment and the threats that are attendant to our ability to do this job. And I know we had the same problem with the NASA panel. I'm not going to subject my team to that. I have some of the best professionals on the face of the planet working some of this. But I'm not going to subject them or their families to that kind of harassment that is making our job a lot harder. I've had people try to dig up information on my wife, my child, where I live, make threats, send harassments. That's not called for.
And what is the claim? Is the claim that you're evil because you haven't said what they want you to say about the sources of these anomalous sightings?
That's a great way of saying it, but I would put it a different way, right? I told everybody when we stood up, I would follow the data wherever it led. Mm-hmm. That means you have to follow the data and the evidence where it leads. If you don't like where it leads, don't call me a liar and then come after me. Mm-hmm. This is evidentiary scientific methodology and intelligence tradecraft. This is how the world works.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to welcome Bangkok Ford to the overlay. He's now in the mix.
Let's go. That's what Skyfire News does, baby. We're killing it.
Dude, I mean, could there be a stronger party line? Fucking shit, dude.
And I just want to reiterate, Sean Kirkpatrick is asked by Chris Mellon for his private contact info. He immediately ties it to the harassment. Sean Kirkpatrick is asked by a civilian a question first raised on Bangkok Ford's show. He immediately ties it to the harassment. That's why I say, bro, this stuff's important. You're at the very least, you're giving them free ammo. Honestly, I think the air report had a lot of flaws.
I think so. Can you go? I want to go back to when Kirkpatrick describes the harassment he's received, and I want our listeners and our friends to listen to this and tell me if it sounds like the same type of stuff we've been trying to talk about on this channel. Does it sound like the same type of harassment, or is it its own animal? Because when I hear him talk, I can't help but feel like my dude is telling my story over here. You know what I mean? Like, to think that the same kind of treatment put on Chupacabra, Red Panda, people who are willing to talk about this, is put on Kirkpatrick with a tie chain. How many tie chains do I need before we're not targeted anymore? If they can do this to this guy, what else are they doing? I got to see that part again.
You want me to replay it one more time?
Just the part about the harassment. Yeah.
Oh, like what he actually faced? Okay,
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah.
Like we'll just go from the middle.
And chat, if you're in the
subject my
chat
team
and
to
you
that.
and you received this kind of treatment, let us know. Type a 1 in or something like that, because this is starting to sound less rare, less and less rare.
People, because of the fact that the harassment and the threats that are attendant to our ability to do this job, and I know we had the same problem with the NASA panel. I'm not going to subject my team to that. I have some of the best professionals on the face of the planet working some of this, but I'm not going to subject them or their families to that kind of harassment that is making our job a lot harder. I've had people try to dig up information on my wife, my child, where I live, make threats, send harassments. Just that's not called for.
And what is the claim? Is the claim that you're evil because you haven't said what they want you to say about the sources of these anomalous sightings?
That's a great way of saying it, but I would put it a different way.
You can pause it. Comment of the day. Comment of the day goes to Phil Schneider. Does getting killed count as harassment? Phil Schneider from the grave. Phil, I got to say, your death was very suspicious, okay? I don't think anyone in the community thinks it happened the way they say it happened, even if they believe you or not. All right, Phil Schneider from the grave. If you guys don't know him, he's a Portland alumni, right? Me and Phil Schneider, we might have been in the same Arctic Circle together. You know, we might have been in the same Burgerville together at one point. Who knows?
Pink Kangaroo says, they sent the social media army after him. They absolutely did. And he tells you exactly who in that response. Who is he talking? Dude, how many of these did we see about Sean Kirkpatrick over the past year?
That's a more flattering picture of Matt Ford. I should have used that one. I'm playing.
No,
Yeah,
really, dude. But we saw like at least probably 5 to 10 range.
Yes.
And they usually coincided with these kinds of conversations. I bet you there.
Yes.
How much you want to bet there was one of these like a day or two after that exchange between Mellon and Kirkpatrick? Right? I bet you.
Dude.
I bet you, dude. Wow.
Yeah. The chat's saying it's deeper than Matt Ford, of course. Of course. But
Yeah, Matt
something's
Ford
going
didn't
on.
know anything about this topic like 6 months ago. All of his info, all of his opinions, I'm sure he's developing his own. And I'm sure, like I always say this too, people are doing what they think is right. I'm sure people framed Sean Kirkpatrick in a way to Grush, to where Grush felt comfortable saying is he being the one criminally investigated.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people are framing Kirkpatrick in a way, and maybe some of it's right, maybe some of it's wrong, but it's like we can clearly identify where this stuff is coming from.
We got Darth McButtfart, Tupa and Schneider chilling at the Plaid Pantry like Jay and Silent Bob. You know your Pacific Northwest marketing, you know what I mean? You get it. That's a convenience store out here. They don't got them anywhere else. I did not know that until I traveled for the first time. Darth McButtfart with a inside joke. I love it. I love it. If you warn people, they just think you're crazy.
Yep.
You know why is because it seems like this group, I'm going to group them up together, right? It seems like they're really good at public perception. and one of their main goals is to manipulate public perception. So while they preach about the truth, let it all out, free information, from what I've seen, and I hate to say this because I feel like a UFO traitor just by simply suggesting this, but from what I've seen, it's these guys that are doing a lot of the weirdness that I would suspect to see from the gov. Like, the way that the UFO lore is laid out for us, it's that we are trying to get information from the government. But what I see from these guys is just something different. Like, they're obsessed with the narrative. They're obsessed with the story. They're obsessed with like the public perception. And for me, this feels like stage one. This is phase one of a plan that I don't know how many pieces go in, but number one is laying it out. Like, in construction and almost anything, in painting, you have to clear the canvas. You have to clear it out to build something on it that you want to stand up. And the taller you want that something to go, the deeper and more secure your foundation has to be. I mean, even if you go through codes, building codes, they come out. The inspectors come out and they're doing all their measurement. They're making sure everything's up to code. And the bigger the structure you want to build, the more you have to do that. And I can't help but feel that's what we're seeing. What are they preparing for? I'm not trying to be a doomer here. I'm not. But like,
shouts out the doomers.
This is sketchy. If you guys get the vibe, let me know. If I'm off base, let me know. You know what I mean? I'll start sniffing around another case. But to me, I'm getting science religion vibes, like a religion based on science, based on UFOs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like somewhere between science and religion. Okay,
almost like a science-ology.
Okay, so this was like a day or two after the clip we just watched, which, by the way, shoot, did I lose it already? I think I might have it somewhere. That clip we just watched where Kirkpatrick was talking about what happened to his house. That clip was posted by our friend Moran Lerner, the King Milk Fart Harassment Archive.
God bless.
Kirkpatrick was speaking at the Hayden Center, which is a think tank run by former director of the CIA, Michael Hayden.
Oh, it's not a center built around an old, like 100-year-old guy who's already dead. Hayden's around today?
I believe so. And
Shit.
The Hayden Center official Twitter account liked that tweet on the King Milk Fart Harassment Archive that was talking about Kirkpatrick and his harassment. Pretty wild, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Right?
I'd say so.
Okay. So this was about a day or two after that. Now, I believe this one isn't Kirkpatrick directly. I think this is a member of the staff from Arrow. And actually, let me just...
And we are rounding almost 2 hours, right? We're going to have to close this bad boy out at 8 o'clock. But like,
oh, shoot. Okay.
You know what I mean? Everyone watching and listening, thank you guys for being here. We're going to round this out for you guys, leave you some final thoughts. And we also got a sick-ass clip from the one and only Will Smith in the mix coming up soon.
We could probably save that for tomorrow, I think.
We said the whole audience was based around it. They are waiting. They're dying for me.
And who knows? Tomorrow might be a slow news day, but this was huge. There's so much stuff unpacking here. Real quick, here's the timeline that John Greenwald did. And remember, he FOIA'd this. He's been getting harassed for this. Go show John love. He literally just posted document. Like, is it John's fault that these documents paint certain people in a bad light? No.
But it is so telling that he's targeted by these guys because of what he does, not who he is. Not who he is. They're trying to take him down for what he does. And what he does is get official documents released that the public, average people like myself and you guys, you're right, you guys aren't out there filing FOIAs. I wouldn't know how to tell you how to do it. So the guy that is doing it, as a community, we're supposed to hate him. Not going to happen. No fucking way, dude. Not listening to these guys on that. And that's for sure.
So here's just the timeline that John Greenwald, June 8th, 2023. Initial contact was made with known associates of Grush, urging them to have him speak with Arrow. These efforts were clarified during dialogues between Arrow's director and individuals close to Grush.
That's Mellon. That's the text that we just saw.
Yes, and this is immediately after, which it's interesting. We covered this too. This is in response to his News Nation interview calling out Kirkpatrick, right? That maybe could have been added in the timeline. June 26th, Arrow staff reached out directly for Grush contact details and extended an interview invitation, which Grush declined. I think that email is in there. I just kind of wonder. June 28th, after Grush's congressional testimony, Arrow sought any verifiable information he might have shared with Congress. So they're trying. July 27th, further attempts to arrange an interview through another associate of Grush, who was meeting him the following day. October 6th, a secure call was made to encourage Grush to participate in a formal interview. November 10th, Grush agreed to be interviewed on November 14th after congressional staff urged his cooperation. Remember, that was an interesting exchange too in Kirkpatrick's LinkedIn thing that like, bro, these congressman people aren't talking to me. They're only talking to the conspiracy people.
That's
November 10th.
crazy.
November 14th, Grush failed to appear at the scheduled interview, expressing doubts about Arrow's authorization to handle classified information. November 19th, Arrow contacted Grush again, reiterating their authorization and inviting him to discuss his claims, which he declined. January 8th, 2024, Arrow provided additional documentation to address Grush's concerns about confidentiality and classification. So look, here's the excerpt, right? John Greenwald, he got the main part we wanted from that November 14th exchange, which also is pretty near my birthday, by the way. This is the person from Arrow. This is the person from Arrow saying, I've been waiting in the lobby for 30 minutes. Are you showing up? So they had finally scheduled after congressional people were like, yo, they scheduled a thing. Grush says, thank you. I apologize for the confusion this morning about my whereabouts. I should have been more clear on my email on Monday. So they had a meeting scheduled and then he didn't do it, dude. This is really, really weird. Really weird.
He's too nice. No, he's too nice. Fuck this. I'm calling this.
Kirkpatrick being too nice?
Grush is too nice. Grush is not he would not withstand the questioning from Kirkpatrick or his organization or his office. Grush is too nice. I'm calling it. I've seen him talk. I don't think Grush is a liar at all. I think he's being used as a tool from these guys. That's what I think. And I think that he's now put in the middle of something he doesn't want to be in the middle of, which is this crazy exchange. Don't talk to him. Don't go talk to him. I think he's being told things about Arrow from Mellon and everyone, not to trust them, yada, yada. And I think
they're criminals.
Yes. And I think that Grush is playing ball just to like, hey, I'm not going to do one or the other. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm going to abstain from this stuff. And then in that confusion, then they were able to like weaponize that against Arrow to say it was their incompetence, it was their lack of follow-up that did it, when in reality they knew they were never going to let Grush go talk to these guys. That's what it looks like to me. We got a $5 dono and a question. We got to hit him with the song though.
That
was a good time.
Nowadays I'm all about the fetty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fetty. They getting none. Me, I'm all about the fetty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
It's actually a really nice comment. I've learned more in this live stream today than I have over the last year. Thanks, guys. Skyfire is my new favorite thing. Thanks for being here. And we can't take all the credit. I mean, this is information coming out that has been on everyone's mind for the last year. We're finally getting answers to now. And I don't know who else is out there talking about it to this depth or with this kind of like callback. I mean, we got songs from Jeremy Corbell. Have you guys ever heard Zero to Jeremy before? You're not going to hear on Cambian. You're just not going to hear on Matt Ford. Shout out to Cambian. I'm just saying he could.
So in conclusion, I guess we'll wrap up here. John Greenwald, through this FOIA, has produced at least 4 different attempts, right, to reach out. And there was even a scheduled meeting at one point that Grush backed out of because of some classification thing. So I think the onus of like who ghosted who is totally on Grush, the Grush camp, Mellon, Elizondo. And I hate to say it because I love Grush, bro. I'm still pro Grush, but this is making me a little bummed, bro. Not gonna lie.
My feelings on Grush have not been changed by this. Right, my faith in Grush and his people are okay, but it seems like the people that are using him as a tool are happy to make him, to put him in the middle of this "you're lying, no, I'm lying" bullshit, and it seems like muddying the water, it's clouding the air, it's making it harder to see the target, And they did that. We can see by the text messages. It seems to me
there was weird threats in there.
Fuck yeah, there was weird threats.
Being a felon,
dude, this is not great.
Get into your devices, people around you, until they have enough to make you stop. And who did we learn recently was bragging online about hacking people's router information, which I want to reiterate: counter intel, counter military people saying that they're hacking into the private data of civilian ufologists is not drama. It's a story.
Or him in that same thing, or not in the same thing, but kind of in that same conversation, not in the same tweet, saying that like declaring who and who isn't part of disclosure, who and who isn't really helping, who out there is just projecting their own self-hatred. Like that kind of shit, dude.
How long until a map 4 thing about Michael Huntington? So with everything we've learned today, let's rewatch this clip of Corbell and like, bro, what is happening in Disclosure Land? This is so weird.
As of the time of my departure, none, let me repeat, none of the conspiracy-minded, in quote, whistleblowers in the public eye had elected to come to Arrow to provide their, quote, evidence and statement for the record, despite numerous invitations. So let's just take David Grush. Is that true? It's not true. That's a lie. So
I like how he answers his own question, dude. Oh God.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Where does this leave us, bro? Damn, I like Grush. I was cited in the Grush documentary. I don't think Grush is a bad guy. I think he's being manipulated. And I'm like, people are. We know he didn't talk to Arrow, right? So all his opinions about Arrow are coming from other people. You know what I mean?
Here's what we do, Red. We use your contact, right? We use our Skyfire resources, our personal resources. We get a question to Grush. We try to get an answer from him, right? We give him an out. Hey, listen, do you feel manipulated by this? Were you put in the middle of something you didn't want to be in the middle of? Leave it there.
You didn't even understand until you're already like 10 feet in.
Yes, leave it there and then just see. And we got to see if Skyfire can get a response so that we can get an answer from the horse's mouth about this. Because unlike, I don't know, Corbell here just comes off so bad, dude. He comes off so he's just reiterating a narrative, not the truth. And that's something that these disclosure bros have been accused of before, right? They're way more concerned about the narrative and the public perception than they are the actual truth. And then that's fine. But then they go on and they call people the worst names. They do the worst things to people who aren't buying it or drinking the Kool-Aid. Red, this is huge. I say that's our next agenda. We got to go ahead and we got to try our best to get an answer from Grush. The Grush is loose, dude. We got to get him. And also I think we got to, do a follow-up. We're going to watch this story like a hawk as it develops. To me, I'm fucking hyped up. I'm worked up over this because it seems like a foundational brick, a keystone in this structure has been removed and they only have so much time to fill it back up. And I think we're going to see some very strange, unique behavior from the Disclosure Bros over the next 30 days. That's my opinion.
Arthur Preston says, I always find myself agreeing with Art. Grush is being manipulated 100%, but at least he talked to Greer's witnesses. So I have some hope for him. Grush should whistleblow on the Disclosure Bros. Yeah, double whistleblower David Grush, dude. We need to know what's happening behind the scenes there.
Zim says, give him your contact info and we'll get back to you. I have a feeling my name has came across Melon's desk. But that's because I'm egotistical maniac. And I think that, but also because of all the stuff that's going on right now.
And Sean Kirkpatrick just laughed at the thought of you getting sued by Matt Trouble. I mean, not Sean Kirkpatrick, Sean Cahill.
Sean Cahill.
Yeah.
We're doing our best in the background to get Kirkpatrick and a statement from him. We are doing what we can to make sure we get you guys this information straightforward because we don't want to, dictate what this is and what this isn't. There's people out there with answers. We're going to try our best to get them to you guys. For now, though, hell. Oh, thank you, Tom.
So nowadays I'm all about the Fetty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the Fetty. They getting none. Me, I'm all about the Fetty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Thank you, a girl named Tom. Hell yeah, this was a good show. We learned a lot. Bro, there were some mind F words.
There was, dude.
Seeing these back channel conversations, dude.
Yes.
This was weird.
Yes.
I feel uncomfortable.
I'm a little weirded out. Yes. I'm like, okay, let's see how long this stream stays up for. This is crazy. Shout out to all the people dropping super chats. We got Stoned Ape in here. Beats and Meats. Thank you so much. UFO Intros. Buddy. Dark McButtfart, who happens to know about Plaid Pantry. I'm a little sketched out, but I love it. And then also a girl named Tom. Guys, you were great. The Skyfire family is here again representing. Until next time, I think our next, my next goal, obviously, is to reach out to these people. But as far as guests, we got to get John Warner on here. We're going to work that magic because hearing from Chris Mellon's cousin, how he feels about these text exchanges might actually be a cool Skyfire exclusive that we need over here.
Yeah,
so
let's get great idea, and dude, it would be cool if we could get Dark Journalist and John Warner to go through these text messages.
Nice.
We'll cover that next time, but this melon puppeteering Grush thing has come up before, right? It's been a talking point in the community. We'll talk about it. Maybe we could get him on tomorrow. Let's just shoot, right? You miss every shot you don't take.
Exactly. That's what we do here at Skyfire. We shoot shots. We call mauls. Okay, not the other way around. Okay, and we get to the answers. Thank you guys again for being here, Red. You crushed it tonight, man. This is an awesome show. I do think we learned a lot here. I'm gonna close it out with 0 to Jeremy.
All right, peace out, guys.
Peace, guys.
Look, man, from 0 to Jeremy, what's my freedom to speak here, George?
Go for it.
Yeah, be myself, you always say, right? Cool.
It's your birthday.
It's George's birthday.
Total fucking horse shit. And Kirkpatrick is a piece of dog shit. Total fucking horse shit. He's a suit. Is a liar. Is a piece of dog shit. Total fucking horse shit. He's a suit. Is a liar. Is a piece of dog shit. So let's get into the lies. That he's a liar.
He stuck a shiv right in the ribs of his own organization.
You omit information? That's still a lie. So check this out. There's an information war. This is disinformation. This is a disinformation tour. Total fucking horse shit. He's a suit. Is a liar. Is a piece of dog shit. I don't know if I was forceful enough, George, but that's how I feel.
That's pretty good.
Look, man, from 0
Love
to
you guys.
Jeremy,
Until next time.